Today on Crunch Week, Secret goes under, tech stocks go down, and Microsoft goes viral. Hi, welcome to Crunch Week. I'm Anthony Ha.
I'm Alex.
I'm Colleen.
And we are here in New York City, but we're going to run down the week's tech news.
Wait. Where are we in New York right now? This is a very important point to me. We're at the what hotel?
The New Yorker Hotel.
The fancy New Yorker.
Well, we've basically set it up to be the one shot that makes this look like a really glamorous hotel.
It does look glamorous from here.
I mean, it's a great place. They put us up every Disrupt, but
well, we give them a lot of money to do that.
Right. It's also I think one of those you can imagine it was a beautiful, beautiful hotel 100 years ago.
Yeah.
And
150, 100. You know, it's some indeterminate length of time.
But yeah. There are some tech stories here because Nikola Tesla, did he die here?
Yes, and you actually stay in his room if you want to.
Yeah.
Do you have to pay extra for that?
I hope not. That's creepy.
Yeah, but it's also next door to where the Disrupt conference is going to be kicking off. Over the weekend, we've got the hackathon, and next week we're going to have the big conference. So.
Yeah. I'm feeling pretty excited about it. I think it's going to be.
This is the best Disrupt New York lineup ever.
Yeah.
So, hopefully we won't screw it up. I mean, we could.
If you're watching this and we suck, we're really sorry. We tried, but that's the best we could do.
Right. But yeah, let's talk about what's actually been happening for the past week. Let's not talk about the future. Let's talk about the past.
Let's look backwards. I'm on the rear view mirror, if you will.
Right. So Secret actually went out of business, or it's basically shutting down as a company. This is something that we'd known about before because they basically said they were going to shift their focus to basically turning into a startup studio kind of model.
It wasn't clear. Startup incubator, build a lot of ideas, throw capital stuff, and hope for a win. If you recall, Twitter was born out of Odeo. And so there's a history of companies actually just building different stuff. But with Secret, that's not the case. It is not to be. They are defunct, fucked, over, complete, finito, terminated, gone.
Good. First F-bomb of the Crunch Week. That's good. I'm excited.
This kind of stuff never really happens. I mean, companies quietly kind of go into the night, or they have a downward slope, but for something to legitimately shut down, let go of its employees, and give its investor money back is pretty huge.
It seemed like, given that it was a fairly short period, I think about the period of a month where we ran a story saying this is sort of what, and then to go to complete shutdown implies that not everyone was on board with that plan, and so it may have been premature for them to kind of talk about it, and then suddenly investors. I mean, again, we don't know exactly what happened, but
who's sad here, really? Outside the investors who lost money, who's really damn it, Secret's gone.
Well, okay.
Ruin the Tuesday.
Let's say,
come on.
How has any of us actually posted secrets? You have.
It was big in in our office for a while. Ryan was laughing every day. I couldn't help myself.
I've never posted a secret. I think the only secret that was posted that was related to me was John Biggs taking a photo of one of my T-shirts and saying Anthony Ha always has the best T-shirts.
That's the worst secret ever because you know who put it on, you know who it was. It was you, and you were tagged.
So why do you guys think this went down? Is it because the idea was kind of negative? Is it that anonymity is bad?
So this, I guess, the other related question actually for me is also, was it ever that big? And I mean, clearly there was a lot of excitement, and then it kind of declined from there. But was it? Even at its peak, was it actually not that big, but it just seemed that way because all the people we knew were on it?
Right there, absolutely that. It was us and our friends, and so it became a tech story that raised $35 frickin' million of capital because it was big in our little bubble. I don't think it was ever big in Duluth or Missoula or whatever's in Tennessee.
Right.
But there are a lot of things that are only big in the tech bubble, and they still kind of stick around. They might get that. They don't necessarily get $35 million in funding, but they stick around. They don't get shut down and give the investor money back within a year.
Half Foursquare.
But they don't get. They still are going.
But they're just chugging along.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Dave Warren keeps getting the money, and Dennis Crowley keeps getting the money. Why did David Vitale? The investors didn't give him a break. I guess they said, nope, give us our money back. You're out.
They didn't like the Ferrari.
Ferrari's gone. That was the saddest part of that story. It was and his car's gone. So he's at home in his apartment right now with a moped and tears. He can't go anywhere. No one likes him. Sad
I think he'll be all right.
And on that incredibly brutal note, let's maybe move on to another sad story, which is about tech stocks. There were three kind of earnings reports that came out this week: Twitter, Yelp, and LinkedIn. And I think none of them were really what people were hoping, and in each case, the stocks really took a beating. They all went down by about 25-ish% as of the end of the week. So that's a lot of money.
Yep, it was really horrible, actually. You can't get around how bad it was. the preceding week had Amazon, Google, Microsoft, and Apple, and they all did quite well, actually. And then we had this trio, this troika, this triplicate of failure. And we saw,
Do you know any other words for a three of a thing?
Three, actually. It's another good one.
Yeah.
Wow, I feel like a total asshat. Anyways, so the point is they're all really bad. And I think we're going to see either some reorganizations or some replacement of executives. I think Dick Costolo at Twitter is certainly under a lot of pressure before this announcement, and now afterwards it's especially bad. If you track their share price during the call, it went down further. So his full-throated defense of the company caused it to lose more value. That's not good.
Well, I mean, the Twitter one, I think, in some ways was particularly bad because it wasn't just the numbers, but it was the fact that the numbers got out about an hour before they were supposed to, and so like they actually halted trading temporarily because it just like the stock was just like plunging, and then they resumed it, and then it just continued to plunge, which was kind of
You can't really prop it up at that point. But you shocked by that?
I was shocked, I suppose. It seemed shocking at the time.
You sound shocked.
I'm trying to think back to a few days ago. I was a little bit shocked because it seems like Twitter has been the investor darling for a while, and Twitter has been strong. Everyone's been very impressed. It's been one of the more successful IPOs in the past couple of years. Certainly not as under fire each earnings call as Facebook had been in its early days and stuff. So to see it fall that much and to see people not give Twitter this much of a break, and to hear people really talking about having Costolo's head, it's pretty shocking fall.
I think it was, because I feel like it's been something. It's not. I wouldn't necessarily agree that it was a darling. It was that it was sort of this slow sort of loss of momentum, and that I think in the last couple there was definitely this disappointment around user growth.
Yes.
Although there were a couple, I think 1 or 2 quarters where it kind of perked up again a little bit, but then this was like where it was like, oh my god, it like went off a cliff.
And what drove that? It was a decline in expectations for the year. Both LinkedIn and Twitter lowered their guidance, and they were kneecapped by investors because people expected certain cash flows, and they're like, haha, JK. We're not going to do that this time.
Right. It was, and I mean, it was actually interesting for us because not to put throw Ingrid, make Ingrid feel bad, but she wrote the LinkedIn earnings story, and it was like a very positive story because they actually beat on on revenue and on earnings. But then on the forecast, we had to be like, oh, by the way, like the stock went down a lot because of the forecast for the year went down considerably.
Yeah.
Still a great company, still growing well, still doing well. But if you don't go as fast as people expected, you take it.
With earnings, you never know. I feel like anytime something comes out, it's like the stock went up because the revenue was great, or the stock went down because the revenue was great. You never know how investors are going to react, honestly.
Right. Investors are sheep. And on that note, let's move to something more fun, which is a fun stunt that Microsoft pulled this yesterday, I think it was.
Yeah.
Or, it was earlier this week. It was called how-old.net.
No, how-old.net.
How-old.net, and you basically take a photo of yourself and it would tell you how old you were. Okay, let's start with how old did it say you were?
Well, it was various photos. So it was pretty on point though, actually. I especially like the one where it said I looked 24.
Yeah, you were like...
but no, most of them said I was, 29, 30, around my age range. So it was actually...
You're 28, right?
I'm 22, actually.
Oh, great. All right.
So,
I did like that you
mature
answered that question without actually disclosing your age. That's good.
Yeah.
That's what I was trying to... But
the New Yorker Hotel and I share the same birthday, except different year, but January 2nd,
really
1930.
Years,
yeah.
You're actually
Well,
95 years old.
I look
well
great.
done.
Yeah.
Okay,
so in my case, I tried to, I used a photo that I just found on Bing, and it's a couple years old, so I was like, oh, this is going to be great, because it's going to say I'm 25. It said 34.
Oh, man.
And I was like, you can go to hell. Microsoft. What about you, Alex?
I didn't use the app.
So Alex is actually 18, so, it'll be, you're doing the math in your head. Yeah, ish.
I'm 26 in July. I just want to kill myself.
Well,
but
he's kind of like the office baby, so.
No, that's Kyle now.
Yeah.
But what I love is Microsoft went viral.
That's the thing.
That doesn't happen to them. They had to pay for ads. This time, my Twitter feed was a mess. Everyone was talking shit, talking how much they loved it when it said 24.
Yeah.
Microsoft was cool for 20 minutes. Which is just revolutionary, I feel.
Yeah, it feels like even when you talk about Microsoft in a positive way, it's always about this sort of boring enterprise software or
profits.
Profits, and who cares
boring
about that
profits.
except for you.
But how was the Build conference generally? Was it that new energy that Microsoft seems to have?
Well, I was there for the keynote, and then I flew to New York for this glorious little event. So I didn't get to see all of it, but it was sold out. It was on Moscone. It looked fine. There were a number of big announcements like iOS apps on Windows, Android apps on Windows, and I feel like things were positive. But we haven't really seen the culmination of the Windows 10 platform strategy yet, and so until we have our hands on that, we won't really know how well this push is going to go.
So I think what the subtext of what you just said was that disrupt is better than build. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, of course it is.
All right, great.
I
Well,
mean, come on, it's us.
and on that note, we will have Crunch Week from Disrupt next week. We'll do it a little early on Wednesday, so I'll see you guys then.